Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Prep Talk podcast hosted by Fulfilled by Max. Not really mad. Oh, no, now Max Anthony FBA switched it on me. Pete's Flips. Today we have an extremely special guest. We have BizTank on with us. We're going to get into a little bit of his Amazon journey. We're going to talk a little bit about the socials, and it's going to be a really, really good conversation. So, Biz, thanks for joining.
Yeah, happy to be here, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, as we've kind of gotten to know one another, it's kind of, you're kind of like the staple, I'll call it a meme account on Twitter, Money Twitter. But I've gotten to know that you're actually a really, really good Amazon seller. Can you dive in a little bit about how you started with Amazon, just kind of share a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, that's flattering to hear from you, Pete. As far as the memes go, just quick shout out to my boy Prodigy Flips, because he's kind of coming up on my legacy with his memes. As far as Amazon, the way I got started is actually pretty interesting. So I have a mentor in real life. It's like a family friend. And that's actually how I learned about Amazon. So it was about 2020 when I started doing some books, doing some RA. Started to go into OA about 2021. And now I'm doing some OA and start moving towards wholesale. And then I'm thinking about next year, it'll be full-time wholesale.
So you started in 2020. Were you able to take advantage of any of the craziness during the pandemic?
Yeah, the sad thing is I started off pretty slow, I guess. Some of these young bucks you see now, they'll pop out like a 20K month their first month, and then they'll have like a 60K month, and then all of a sudden they're at like 100K. I grew a lot slower than that. So for me, it was more like my first month was maybe like 7K. And then it was like 9K and then like 13K. So really slowly. And I stuck to books for way too long. So that kind of destroyed my business. Once I started to delve into RA, and I was like really nervous about all this stuff too. I was like really scared to start doing RA because of like trademarks and IP complaints and things like that. I was terrified of them at the time.
Yeah.
But I started doing RA, like some Christmassy bolos, and then that's when my revenue started to like skyrocket. Did some shoe RA, some apparel RA, stuff like that. Started to crank the orange bars up. Profit went way down, but the revenue skyrocketed, obviously. Yeah, so I had a very slow growth period doing books.
So you did 7K in books though, like starting out?
I did more than 7K. I forget what my highest book month was, but I think it was like 25K of books.
So were you just hopping from like, book sale to book sale, or were you hitting like a Goodwill? What was your game plan?
Dude, I got the book sauce out there that nobody knows about. And I'll drop it because I don't do any books anymore. The real margin, the real bang for your buck is textbooks, obviously. So what I would do is I would go out to like thrift stores and book sales, library sales, all that in the daytime, driving around different towns, checking that out, fill up a couple boxes full of books, come back, drop those off. And then I would get onto Facebook Marketplace, go to different cities with colleges nearby, Atlanta, whatever, just a random city that pops in my head, and start looking for chicks or guys unloading their textbooks. Scan the photo with the Amazon Seller app, because you can do like a AI sort of scan on the cover of the book, find the profit, and then send them an offer for the whole lot or just a couple of the books if there's just a few good ones. So send them like, hey, I'll pick these up off your hands for $50 and I'll send you a label. They accept it, send me a box of books. The shipping's maybe $20-$30, and then I get like 500 to 1,000 of profit on textbook delivered to my door. So I would just crank that out all night on Facebook.
Wow. Sounds like I'm about to go on Facebook tonight.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of anybody doing that. See, that's kind of, I think it speaks to like the point I made that like, it starts, you kind of chirping people on Twitter, but there's like actually some depth there from like I've never heard of anybody doing that. That's
It's a miserable grind.
It's okay.
That's
just
the
messaging.
That's one of the most original kind of like backstories I've heard out of everything I've listened to. Like,
I'm surprised I've never heard anybody else like run this hustle, because there's people around the country who are stuck with textbooks.
Miles,
and they sell for $100 on Amazon, and they just want to get rid of them, right?
Miles,
Sometimes they would eat. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Miles and Garrett, they'd go into Facebook groups, and they've said this publicly. They go into like Facebook groups and like they'd message everyone and like look at the groups and post, and they just snag a bunch of shit. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but the sending the label is like it's creative, and then you could scale it a little bit. So that makes that's super impressive. So.
Fraud labels too, man. You're making great margin.
No. That wasn't a thing back then.
No, business by the books.
No, but no, like legit maybe 10-20% of the time they would just give you the books because it's like some mom trying to get rid of her kids' books. So she's like, yeah, I'll just send you these. If you send me a shipping label, like great, whatever, you can just have them.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's still profitable. That was a while ago, but yeah, that's a good tactic. But dude, sitting on Facebook Marketplace for like 5-6 hours every night, there's no way you can do it if you're not drinking. Okay, I was drinking beers every night doing that.
So that's where the stockpile of the Bushlight photos is from. Those are not recent photos. Those are aged, I take it.
I'm trying to remember what photo. Is it like a pyramid of Bushlight?
I don't know. There's so many of them at this point.
Yeah, I got some good old photos of that time. But yeah, that's when the pounds started packing on.
Yeah.
The alcoholism started to mature.
Oh, big fatty Bombaddy, huh? You got that fatty liver, rocking the fatty liver body.
I might have. Hey, I'm cutting back a little though. I wanted to go get some beers for this show here, but I decided not to.
Ooh.
So,
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what? Wouldn't have cared either way.
You like seltzers too, or just beer?
I do like seltzer. It's a little pricey. Like White Claw, it's like freaking I don't know, $16 for a 6-pack. So I just prefer beer.
The seltzers, bro. Alcohol, sugar. It's not even real alcohol. It's disgusting. Fermented cane sugar.
Here's a rant.
It's disgusting, bro. It's literally fermented cane sugar. It's not even actual alcohol. Like you're
White
drinking.
Claw?
Yes, you're drinking like liquid cane sugar fermented.
What do you think about this?
Nah, Red Bull's chill.
Red Bull
gives me wings.
That looks like a
White Claws.
headache.
White Claws are fucking the devil's ass, but Red Bull is fire.
We love Red Bull.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're not exactly like comparing tomato, Red Bull, and White Claw. They're a little different.
Yeah.
Red Bull.
Hey, 100 calories though. That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Yep.
I bought a can opener, so my Red Bull doesn't have a lid anymore.
Oh, nice.
There you go. And so you went for books. You moved over to RA. You did something super creative in books. Was there anything that you kind of put on its head in RA or OA that allowed you to have success?
RA is just a grind, man. Like a major respect to people still doing RA, like Ant. He's in our group on Twitter. I don't know if too many people still doing RA, but it's just a grind. Like it sucks, and you got to deal with people, which is the worst part. You got to deal with employees. Like it could be some person at Walmart that wants to give you a hard time for no reason. It's just driving in bad conditions. You can make a lot of money if you do RA 10-12 hours a day. You'll make money and the margin's great, but it's just like sweat equity, I guess.
Did your mentor, is this like, so when you're talking about you had a mentor, right? So you started off with books. Did he tell you to start off with books, or did you get into books and then the mentor came along and then you kind of were like, hey, I've been trying this out?
No. He did not tell me to get into books. I was just like really nervous about everything. IP stuff. Like, so I really wanted to start off slow. I didn't have that much money to work with.
Right.
So my biggest nightmare was like getting my account shut down and having all my money gone. So I kind of took it one step at a time. Like the risk tolerance very slowly went up. Where some of these young bucks, I mean, obviously we're hearing about it now, but they just went like 0 to 100 on risk. And now it's kind of getting them in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, since talking to you, you're like very, very pragmatic about how you approach like your Amazon business. Is there like themes that you see that, folks that are just starting, they kind of misstep on? I mean, you mentioned risk, do you think that there are opportunities to like share like your perspective and little nuggets that might help the audience?
Yeah. I mean, it's really practice makes perfect, right? Just like anything else in life. If you're 2 months in and you're doing 100K months, you probably don't know what you're doing. It's just not possible that you've learned everything you need to know by that point. I mean, like when I was growing, I was like studying, watching podcasts, watching every single piece of information I could get my hands on all day long while prepping, while driving, sourcing, studying Keep-It charts. So I like really had a great understanding as I did start to scale up, take on leverage, take on loans, things like that. Where if you're only a couple months in, like if you can't study a Keep-It chart and analyze the variations, you got to get back to the drawing board and start studying because you're not ready to drop like 50K.
Yeah.
It might be hard to hear, but that's the facts.
No, that's true.
So I kind of agree with that too, because like, I mean, since I started selling in June, but like the real work started back in like March. So it took me like a solid 6 to 8 months to really like learn and get everything underway before I could actually even put up a number in like I did in August when I did 6 figures. Like I didn't even sell my first product until June, but I started researching and studying for other people in like February, March.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're starting out now, I guess one suggestion would just be go listen to every single Buy Box Bandits podcast, because you'll get a variety of different little experiences, different strategies, different little tips. Oh, I didn't know that brand did IP complaints, things like that. Just listen to every one of them while you're washing dishes, prepping, whatever. From there, go look at some other podcasts, just start talking to people, try to seek out a mentor if you can, whether that's a free just person that wants to help you or a paid coach, because they'll be able to give you a lot of that wisdom and experiences that you're probably not going to hear about much, especially if it's something new like the Section 3 thing. So you just really got to start researching and learning. That's all there is to it.
So what role did your mentor play in your, forming of, your business strategy and et cetera? Like, I'm kind of curious because we've all had a mentor as well. So
yeah, you got to have a mentor. That's
think-
probably like biggest life hack you can have, especially for Amazon, is just having an experienced seller to talk to, because they've seen it all for the most part if they've been around for 5+ years. So they helped me out a ton. Like in the first probably 2, 3, 4 months, like I was messaging them constantly. How do I do this for a shipment? What does this mean on a keep? My Seller Central account got this. Oh, I got this message from Karen. Like, what do I do? Things like that. So it was very constant. But then you learn so quickly when you have somebody who's like responsive like that. So it just helps you like learn and digest things very quickly.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we sometimes sit in on like the calls with Miles will do, and you forget how many little things you got to check off before you can get running. And like, there's still opportunities within our businesses. I mean, relative like to you, we're still a little bit, we're greener than you are, I'll say. And so the refinement phase is kind of in full effect right now. But like, there's so much that you have to really take on.
How long have you guys all been selling for?
I've been selling for about probably, this is my fifth month so far.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like that is so new to me.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I was sourcing almost a free VA for I don't know if you ever heard of PB Flips, Pat Basile. So I was sourcing for him as a free VA in like February, March, like I said. So that's where I gained a lot of knowledge coming into it, and then jumped right into Miles' program. Did like 40 bands my first month, mostly FBM to RA to FBM flips, so that way I could turn my money over faster and get those payouts quicker.
Did you say free VA?
I was sourcing leads for him for free.
How do I get one of those? That's awesome. Yeah, that's good experience though.
Probably, I do have people that hit me up in my DMs after I did like interviews with Miles and everything about like how I got started. I could send them to you if you want some free.
Yeah, you're good. No, I guess that's basically an internship, right?
Yeah, like it kind of is. And I was like, yo, you leave notes in this Google sheet and tell me like why something's good or why something's bad, and then you can keep the lead and buy it if it's good, and I'll just gain the knowledge of like learning what to look for and what not to look for. And then when I filed my LLC, I literally I put every last freaking penny I had into Amazon, and that's literally how I ended up doing 40K in my first month of selling on my own.
Yeah, that kind of like brings me to 2 points, I guess, from what you just said there. One is like having a mentor to also vet your leads. Like, hey, I found this. I'm gonna sell it on this ASIN. What do you think? That right there is like gold. Because they can save you a million problems. Like, oh, that brand sues people. Okay, don't sell that brand. Oh, that brand, I got an IP complaint from them 6 months ago. Oh, actually, that's wrong. That's a 2-pack. What you have is a 1-pack. Just things like that. And they can check it if they're experienced in 5 seconds. Like, oh, okay, blah, 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 done. Give them the feedback. But for you, that could save, 10, 20 hours of like mistakes,
thousands of
orders. Yeah, and save you a bunch of money. So it's just like invaluable.
For sure. Max, what about you?
Yeah, I've been selling for like 6 months. I basically started in like the first week of April. I just started researching and doing a bunch of stuff. And then I think around May, I was just like, I did like probably, 5 weeks of like 60 hours a week, just freaking inhaling Buy Box Bandits episodes, just choking on the Buy Box Bandits, drowning. 5 minutes.
All right, that's a bit much.
Hey, yo. Inhaling, choking, like, dude, relax.
No, I mean, shout out Flips for Miles, right?
Just shoving info in my ear. And, you know, after that point, I was like, all right, dude, like, I want to take it to the next level. And then I ended up going through Miles' coaching program. And now, after that experience, like, obviously, Miles, great mentor and, like, really legit. I wouldn't go into any new industry without finding a mentor. It's just the time value of money. You like whatever the coaching is going to cost you is going to save you 10x in mistakes, time, headaches, and everything else. So you're literally paying for experience. I think people that haven't had a coach before may not really understand how valuable it is.
Yeah.
But it really is, man. It just makes so much sense from a business standpoint.
Hey guys, can we swear on here or no?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. So what you just said there, like people always clowned on Ty Lopez for saying like get a mentor or get a coach, and I clowned on him too. I was like, you know, that guy, screw that guy. He was completely right. Like I'm kind of thinking about going into this new business. The first thing I did is email like 30 people. I'm like, hey, could you help me be my mentor here potentially? I'm thinking about this because it will save you so much time. Even if you have to pay whatever amount, it's completely worth it.
Dude, totally. I think it gets a bad rep because there's so many scammer.
Yes.
People. That's the problem. Like the reason why I went with Miles is because I never saw any Lamborghinis, no cash flashing. It was never about money. It was only about learning the skill set and actually, you know, becoming successful as a seller, not from a monetary standpoint. So I just felt really comfortable that it wasn't a scam. And, you know, I got the roadmap too, and I saw, all right, this info is legit. So, you know, I was the full trajectory. But yeah.
Yeah, shout out Flips for Miles, shout out Fields of Profit. Those are two guys. I might clown on them a little and chirp them a little here and there just for fun. I hope they don't take it personally. But I've been watching those guys since I started essentially. Because Miles was putting out live streams in 2021 when I was up prepping, drinking beers. I was listening in, getting all that value, watching Fields of Profit when I started to do OA. He has really great OA tutorials. Those guys have great material. I'm not aware of anybody else that has a bunch of amazing content, but I'm sure there's people out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks that like we probably haven't even heard of. They're just in a different like area of the social media world. 100%, it's good content. And then like I've been selling for longer than them, but like started taking it like really seriously like 6 months ago probably. But I was just doing bolos prior, pretty much.
Which is like something that some people do, like a strat, right? I think there's like a whole community of people. They don't take it like to what we're trying to do is, you know, 6 figures monthly. They kind of just every once in a while something hot comes up and they can make a few $100, few $1,000. They go in crazy on it, and then, you know, maybe December they package a bunch of stuff in December, some toys, whatever, and they kind of make like an extra 10, 15 grand a year, and they don't really spend too much time on it, and that's that. So there's so many different ways you can do Amazon. You don't have to just go all in like we are and really trying to scale this out to a multi-7-figure business.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends if you want, like, do you want a side hustle? Do you want a job, or do you want a business? Because if you want to build a business, it's very stressful and you have to dump a lot of money in, and most likely most of your net worth, unless you're a bit older. So it's, you know, just decide what you want. If you want to make an extra $5K a month, that's a little bit different. You could probably do that in December pretty easily, just hunting bolos or whatever.
100%. So are you a team of one, or do you have like some VAs, or what does your kind of team setup look like?
I am completely alone right now. I've had VAs in the past. I've never had the greatest experience. So right now it's just me. Post Q4, I have a couple different routes I'm thinking about taking, and that'll likely involve some more people.
Okay. Nice.
We lucked out. We're training our first one, but she's a killer. Almost like if she was, you know, in America, she'd be making a 6-figure salary at some corporate company. It's kind of crazy. So, you know, we're trying to make sure that she gets compensated very fairly for over there. And
you got to gatekeep her a little bit, Max. We can't be singing her praises all the time.
She's fire, bro. I tell her every single day. I keep hyping her up every single time we meet. I'm like, go, keep going.
Yep.
Killing.
Try not to get rose-colored glasses, I guess, because I mean they might slowly kind of figure out what they can get away with, and slowly start giving you less leads, and slowly this and that. Yep. But I mean, if you got a good one, good for you.
Yep.
You gotta be kind, but like it's hard. You know, you gotta play that balance. Like, hey, everything's nice, but you know, you missed quota. So what's going on?
Kind of getting into the chirping a little bit. So recently, you were crowned top dog of Banter on Amazon Twitter per a fair and free poll that Max put out. How does that make you feel for winning that poll? And then can you kind of share a little bit behind the spirit of like your chirping, that sort of thing?
Yeah, as far as winning it, I didn't really care. Spirit of my tweets, like they're all in good fun. I really hope nobody ever gets offended by them. I've been trying to actually be a little bit less like controversial, or I don't want to like step on anybody's toes or ruffle anyone's feathers, but I mean, I would say 80-90% of my tweets just come from like sitting on the bench at the gym or like hopping on the toilet, you know. They're not that in depth. It's like, oh, I have this funny thought that came in my head while I was looking at Keepa, put it up on Twitter. Like it's pretty impulsive, I guess. It's not thought out whatsoever. I was listening to Michael Girdley. Do you guys know who that is?
Mm-mm.
He's like in his 50s or 60s on Twitter. He's in some other businesses, but he said how he had like a process for a tweet where he like writes it out, has his wife look at it, waits a week, looks at it again, reformats it, cuts out a chunk, and I'm like the complete opposite, where it's like no tweet's taking me longer than a minute or two.
But you are an expert in Microsoft Paint or some sort of Photoshop.
Oh yeah.
So what is the product that you're using to deliver all of the good value that you do?
It's Paint. Yeah, you got it.
Paint's elite.
I thought
Yeah,
you were
I'm
Adobe body.
I'm an OG. I got Paint.
Interesting. So when you started the Twitter, like what was the main goal? Did you have one? You just started tweeting and started gaining traction because you're like kind of prominent in the Amazon Twitter community, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that happened, but I mean, I just got it. I was just anonymous, just like reading stuff, reading threads or whatever, advice from Amazon. And then like there was an election cycle, and I just like followed like Trump shit or whatever, and just like trolled on that community. And I don't know when I started tweeting about Amazon, but I guess it kind of just caught fire a little bit.
Oh, because I see you replying to like in-depth cut tweets and like you get a ton of engagement. Like on some random stuff, I'll see you'll have like I think you've had a couple tweets that I've gotten like pretty like I guess a couple thousand likes and stuff like that. Am I wrong about that? Or?
Yeah, there's been a couple that popped off. I had one where I just made like a little joke about KT Hustles, and that one like blew up, and then he blocked me and everything. I was like, I hope there's no beef here. Like I don't even know who this guy really is.
Are you actually blocked by Hermosi?
Yeah, I am. That bastard. Oh,
That's
okay. I
crazy.
was gonna say I have no bad blood with anybody on Twitter except Alex Hormozi.
Okay,
'Cause
what
that
did he do to
bastard,
you?
he blocked me for I think I just said he was on steroids. Like that was it.
Oh,
And then he blocked me, and I've been trying to get unblocked for like 9 months. Like commenting on his wife's stuff. Like, can you have Alex unblock me? Eventually, she replied, and she's like, "That's Alex's business, not mine."
that's
And I'm still blocked.
That's cool.
so where did the name come from? Was it just shooting from the hip, or how did that come together?
No, it's just a play on words from Shark Tank,
Okay,
but like business tank, because Shark Tank was taken.
I gotcha. And then you've got a low key obsession with Christian Bale. Is he like your favorite actor, or is just how did that come together?
I'm actually not that obsessed with him. He's a good actor. I just thought it was like a cool photo, and then it started to get really popular with like the Sigma community or whatever, and now a bunch of people have it. So maybe I should change it. I don't know.
Ooh.
Sigma community. Are you into the whole? Are you like a red pill guy or no? But you're definitely like a super nerd into like the whole. Like you're very culturally.
Thanks. Yeah, that's nice.
You're in. But I see, like you're into the cultural underbelly currents that like niche.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm online a lot, I guess. if
Yeah,
that's what
you
you
know,
mean.
like internet culture really well, like to it.
The red pill guys, they got a little crazy, a little extreme. Yeah, you know. I mean, like, is Joe Rogan red pill or no?
Nah, I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, that's like probably where I draw the line. Past him is getting a little like into the incel territory, I guess.
You're not a Sneeko fan.
That guy got kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I used to watch him in like 2018 or something when I was a kid.
I think he was a video. Didn't he? Like, wasn't he a video editing channel before?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and he tried to be Andrew Schultz editor. I think, and then like Andrew Schultz denied him, or like he wanted him to work for like really cheap money. And then Sneeko made this huge video, and I think that was pretty much like one of the first videos that like got him like clout off of his like face and speaking on camera. And then he kind of like grew this career slowly from that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they just learned that you can be inflammatory, and that gets a lot of clicks. So
yeah, but that like fizzles out. That's such a brutal way to live.
Brutal. It's brutal. But so you are probably the most successful anonymous account that I'm aware of. Do you have any advice for folks that are anonymous trying to kind of carve their way into the Twitter sphere?
I mean, I don't know if I'm the most successful unless you're talking about strictly like for Amazon.
Oh yeah,
It's
just
like,
Amazon Twitter.
Like two accounts I would reference that I'm a decent fan of is like Bowtied Bull and Bowtied Broke, and they're both anonymous and they're like 25 times as big as me. So
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Bowtied Broke that's the guy.
Okay.
Yeah, but as far as, you know, gaining followers or whatever, just be yourself. Like, don't censor yourself that much. This isn't LinkedIn. Like, that's the kind of vibe I get from a lot of these new people is like they're treating it like LinkedIn when it's not LinkedIn, it's Twitter. If you want to post about like your promotion or something like that, go back to LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And like, oh, go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
Oh, like, and just the repetitive crap, like, because I've been on Amazon Twitter since 2021, so the amount of threads I've seen on like how to get cash back is insane. We know about cash back, but thank you.
Add some unique value, not just a regurgitated.
Right.
Well, that's an interesting topic because you do see folks that like just literally copy word for word what other people say. That's wild.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a line between like kind of running with a concept and sharing that versus literally just copying it, because I've seen that like quite a bit, which is it's a bit much.
And don't get me wrong, it's helpful for like new people, and they obviously need to learn about stuff like that. But if you've been around for a few years, it just gets so repetitive.
One thing I've noticed from your tweets is it would appear that you're a big Oliver Anthony fan. What is what do you enjoy about that? Is it just a meme? What's underneath the hood there?
Oh man, I'm gonna catch some heat for this one.
We can clip it if you want.
No, you're good. So like the Beatles, Rolling Stones, nothing compared to Oliver Anthony.
Ooh.
He's a musical genius on unprecedented levels.
That's crazy, bro.
That's a hot take. Well, I mean, you know what? He
very talented.
Cultural undercurrent, and you know, people heard what he had to say.
No, I'm actually kidding. I started listening to it ironically because he hates rich people, and I'm trying to get rich, like while trying to get rich. So I'm sitting here like working 12 hours a day listening to him talk about like, you know, fucking rich assholes. But then I got hooked on it from listening ironically, and then I just like sucked all the life out of it for a few weeks there. But I can't listen to it anymore, dude. I'm like way burnt out of that.
There you go.
He has the same vocal melody in pretty much like every song. It's very, very much like a similar style, and just like the riffs and like everything is like, bro.
I do appreciate he's got some really well trained dogs that are just chilling there wherever the hell he's from. They're just like right every shot, and they're hanging out.
I commented on one of his posts on Twitter just saying like, what is Oliver Anthony going to do now that he's getting rich, right? Because now he's getting famous. And I got so much hate. I was like, all right, I'm done with that.
That's a good take. That's actually pretty funny because he's like 90 million views on one video. Like,
yeah, he's selling out stadiums. Like he's making money now.
He's like the Walmart yodeling kid. Like it just on a meme, just all of a sudden has this fame. But
he's Oliver Anthony Music. He has 5.5 million monthly listeners, and he's independent. North of Richmond has 104 million streams on Spotify, but he's independent, so like that's like good money. He's probably going through like TuneCore or something, so he's probably raking it in, bro. Like,
so like he's a millionaire, or he's going to be pretty soon.
I don't know if he's a millionaire, but he could probably do like a string of shows for like a month or two and make a couple $1 million like easy if he's selling out.
Well, he's already doing that though. He was touring all summer, I think.
Yeah, so he's probably a millionaire. If he's selling out like 5,000 cap plus, so he's definitely a millionaire.
So I mean, just like some hypocrisy.
A little bit. It's a funny thing for him to navigate. So, is there anything that you wanted to share with the audience? Anything you came in with that you thought would be valuable, either from the Amazon or the Twitter side, before we wrap?
I mean, not necessarily. I kind of wanted to talk to you guys and hear about your Q4 and how your October went, how your November is going, and plans going forward and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think October was pretty solid. It was, for me personally, I did like 70, but worked less than I did to get the like 60 like 4 months ago. Like it was, you're just taking advantage of opportunities when they come up. It's, when I did 60 that, 4 months ago or whatever, it was like grinding for it.
Yep.
So,
It
Matt,
should get easier every month. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of the trend.
what is so funny?
Just because Brian did the same thing, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't say the same.
I actually spent so little this month, or in October, is actually kind of gross. I did most of the legwork from September, and September was a super busy month. And then I've been paying down my cards, trying to get my credit score up because I'm poverty, so I'm transitioning off of personal credit and going more into that, business credit and trying to get stuff like that. But basically, my plan is like show as much revenue as I can. I talked to Chase, my local Chase. And I kind of was explaining to him, like, look, I know usually they want 2 years of business credit to do anything like negotiation wise. But, the guy seemed to like me. And, I was telling him, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, you really know what you're talking about? I was like, yeah, I mean, I have a plan. So I kind of told him my plan. And I told him what kind of revenue I'm looking for in December. And he's like, all right, well, if you come back with those types of numbers, we can probably push you over to the relationship banking and see what we can do. He said, I'm not gonna you're gonna get like a crazy loan or something like that, but if you're showing that you have revenue and like you're profitable and stuff like that, like we'll be able to probably do a little something, little grease to the wheel. You know what I mean?
They're kind of tightening down on credit like all around the board, so things could get kind of interesting here for people who are just completely on leverage with high APR,
because their commercial real estate bubble is like coming to an end next year, right? I think like 80% of commercial real estate loans are up for renewal next year, and the interest rates have like
there's all kinds of crazy macroeconomic shit going on.
Yeah.
Have you guys got like a letter from Upstart offering you loans at all? Oh, you have, Max? Okay, I followed through with that just out of curiosity to see what they would give me, and it was like 50% APR for like 3 years. It was something wild.
No.
So if you get a letter from Upstart, just throw it away.
Oh.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I just been trashing him.
Yeah.
Biz, what are your goals?
Yeah, so I mean, you kind of asked me before we started the show about like spend wise and whatnot. So I've been going ham on spending the past like 2 weeks. Kind of been networking with some guys talking about collaborating on some buys, things like that. I'm going on vacation on Saturday for a week, so I'm supposed to like not be working much, or my girlfriend's gonna get kind of pissed off. I mean, I'll be bringing the laptop, but I can't be sourcing all day. So I've been trying to spend like all of my capital, all the loans I got, get that all into the FCs, get that moving for the past 2 weeks. And then I'll probably just start saving up capital for Black Friday, Cyber Monday time, because it should be coming up pretty soon.
In all FBA, right? No FBM?
Yeah, I don't do FBM.
No, you're done with it.
I did that
You've
the
earned
past like 3 years for Q4, but not this year. It's too stressful.
Cat goals.
Yeah, just max out all my credit cards and then hope they reconcile, and they don't reconcile before I pay them. That's my strategy. I like to just max the plum at the beginning of the month and just sell through my inventory, focus on repricing, focus on admin stuff. But,
You live off the stress of figuring out how to pay it off.
Yeah, that's how I just operate. Off the whim. So
A lot of FBM though. So
Did you guys get Section 3 at all? Any of you?
no.
Okay, we're all clear. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That would be really stressful, especially this time of year, to have to be like, because if I got that, I would not be spending right now personally. I'd be in preservation mode.
What do you think about that? Do you think that Amazon's just kind of kicking the tree and seeing what falls out, or what are your thoughts there?
I'm not much of an expert on it because I don't sell a ton of beauty. I sell a little bit. But I think from what I'm hearing is there's just been too much sketchy stuff going on for a long time. And now they're just kind of cleaning up before Q4 or before December or whatever. So it's probably good for all of us. If you're selling legitimate stuff, you don't have anything to worry about. But I mean, I would be super stressed if I got that email personally, just because like the way they word it is so threatening. We're going to shut you down in 15 days if you don't send us like 50 documents.
It's crazy. That's
I
crazy.
think that, I mean, the part that I think is crazy is like, bro, you're withholding payments, like, bro, you could literally ruin somebody's freaking business.
It's fucked
Yeah.
up. I mean, that's the game you play. You
And
sign.
we know that like a lot of times, you get some freaking VA from overseas that doesn't actually like know what an invoice is, and they just say, oh, this is an order confirmation, or like this is something else. And like God forbid some like that happens to somebody and they can't get their account reactivated and they can't take their payouts, and then the next thing you know, their credit cards are just racking up interest and everything. Like, dude, that's gonna set you back months.
Yeah, it's crazy they hold your money. Like that's the crazy part. Your inventory, I guess I kind of get because they're gonna research it, but like to hold your stack of cash is crazy.
I wonder what like the legality behind that is. It's like if they, give you your money back and it turns out you were doing fraud, like are they liable now for allowing you to commit fraud on that platform?
Well, I always think like, what's the legality behind it if they're holding your money and you're not committing fraud? Like, you should be able to sue for damages.
Good luck. Good luck
Yeah.
seeing
You know what I mean? But like, I guarantee you, if you sell enough, you're not catching a Section 3. It's like the same thing with the IRS. They go after the little guys, not the big guys, not the hunchos.
Yeah,
we could
I mean,
pool
we're gonna
all of
lawyer
our
up.
money together and try to sue Amazon, and you still would not stand a chance. So
Yeah,
No
I mean,
shot.
it's crazy to me how like they're pretty much untouchable, and like they treat
Oh, yeah.
garbage a lot.
Yeah.
what is your guys I guess kind of like outlook on OA going forward, like for the next 6 to 12 months?
I think so. It's an interesting question. I think recently I've seen a lot of like bigger wholesale folks get just axed. So OA in some regards almost feels safer. Now it'll be interesting. It feels like we're on an upswing of sellers. So it'll be interesting to see how many hang around. But I think that over the next 12 months, I mean, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I can't tell if it's more people are signing up for Amazon or it's falling off a little bit. I've kind of heard some people say, oh, it's becoming a little less saturated. And then a lot of people are like, oh, that's comparative to the past like 6 months maybe, but the past 24 months, it's been a huge uptick. So I don't know. You've been selling for the longest, probably.
Yeah, that sounds accurate in my opinion. Like if you were to compare now to 2-3 years ago, there's way more sellers, but I've definitely been seeing it slow down the past like 6 months for sure. People falling off, giving up, whatever it is.
I think it was like a trend online for a while, and it kind of like people like the trend. People try it out. Everyone's making a little bit, and then like to make it past that 6 month and really transition from like a side hustle to like actual business clips a lot of people, I think. And so I think maybe that's kind of where we're at. We're like that 6 month trend on like the people circle, cut, and then
it's not as easy as some people think, I guess.
Yeah,
so like
do more wholesale.
The way I'm looking at it is I'm gonna go extremely hard these next probably about 3 months, like through January, because sales are still pretty good in January. But then after that, I'm either gonna start like a different business outside of Amazon. I have a couple of ideas. 2, go pretty much entirely grocery wholesale, just as like a recession-proof model.
Yep.
Or sustainable. Or 3 would be to stay with OA but get like a lot of VAs going on, because it's just way too much work to try to like do all this. It's like 12 hours a day if you want to source and reprice, and especially if you're prepping too, it's like you got to hire people, and we all know hiring American employees, that's like a nightmare. What are you're gonna pay the VA 80 grand in America?
Yeah, that'd be tough.
I was also thinking about that, like grocery. Like I want to get some wholesale accounts with some stuff that's pretty like necessity based, because like there is some stuff going on with the economy. Like I'm not quite sure about next year what's going to happen.
Yeah,
particularly like the commercial real estate bubble really scares me.
Yeah,
down from like the banks just defaulting. That's like
and the residential real estate bubble potentially.
Yeah, it's going crazy too. I mean,
yeah.
If you're if you own properties and you're renting, you're probably fine. Like if you look at 2008, like you only got your shirt rinsed if you were like doing like fix and flips. You were toast, or like a developer's got toasted. But if you just had rentals, like the rent didn't go anywhere. Like you're still gonna rent out, so you're fine. Just like the developing side of things, you're toast, bro.
Well, I think Biz, you kind of laid out a pretty good plan of like, hey, you know what? things could happen, but I don't really have control. So, but if it does, I'll be ready to pivot to things that I know will do well, and then
Right.
resist.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm more on like the side of opinion that thinks there is going to be somewhat of a recession and things are going to get kind of rough here the next like, you know, a couple years, 10 years, something like that. So I mean, grocery wholesale, people got to buy groceries, right? It's not going to go anywhere. But hey, if the economy starts booming for whatever reason and there's like OA opportunities, I'm still going to do OA. Like, of course, if there's money out there, I'm not going to stop, but I'm just kind of planning for the future, I guess.
Well, Biz, we really appreciate you coming on. It's been a really good conversation. Where can people find you at on the socials?
Just BizTank on Twitter, biz_tank. I don't really use anything else. I can't stand Instagram, so don't follow me in there.
All right, 10-4. We'll scrub that from the bio that we had prepped. Well, really appreciate it, and hope to have you on again at some point.
Yeah, it was nice being on. I hope everybody has a great Q4, and for folks that got Section 3, I hope you get that figured out and get your business back up and running.
See you next time, everybody.
Peace.